I don't know about you, but I tend to run myself ragged when I have a lot going on, and that is certainly the case this time of year. It is the Sunday before Christmas, and I haven't taken off any time from work, and so trying to juggle everything that has to get done has left me pretty spent. We have a couple days left before the holiday. I still have an entire house to clean. I've got laundry to do. I've got wrapping to do, and I don't want to have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen today. So I'm going to show you how you can make the easiest meal where you're not sacrificing on any flavor or even nutrition. Welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead, where on my channel I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. And tonight I am going to show you my secret recipe for the easiest crockpot French dip sandwiches that you'll ever try. It's going to be really hands-off. It's a dump and go recipe, and when I bring you back this evening, we'll spend about probably 20-30 minutes just whipping together some sweet potato fries to serve along with that. It's going to be delicious. Nobody's gonna know that you sacrificed anything in order to make your day work, because it is incredibly flavorful. Honestly, one of the best French dip sandwiches I've ever had. So let's get started. I am going to start with a large onion, and normally I would cut this off camera because onions make me cry a lot. However, this is just a rough chop. So here we go. I'm going to leave the root end intact. That helps a little bit. And then I'm gonna chop it in half and then get the skin peeled off. And the same with the second side. Now these are actually the onions from Azure Standard, which they don't make me cry quite as much. The ones I get locally are super pungent, whereas these ones are just a little bit sweeter, and they don't usually make me cry too bad. So that's another reason I'm willing to brave it. Usually when I'm chopping onions on video, I'm pausing it because I've got tears like literally running down my face. That's not gonna happen today. And then this is just a rough chop. So leaving the root end intact, I'm just gonna put three slices, kind of spaced out evenly, and now I can cut the root end off, and that is chopped. And I'm gonna do the same over here. And the reason we're doing a rough chop on these is because these are going to impart an incredible flavor into the broth or the au jus, but we're going to strain those out. We're gonna fish those out with a slotted spoon at the end. So I'm just gonna set those aside. And I also have 2 cloves of garlic, and I'm just gonna smash those just enough to get the jackets off. And I am starting to cry. Okay, I lied, those ones are a little pungent. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these peels out of here. And the root end of the onions, which have more of whatever chemical that makes you cry in them. So let me clean this up. I never used to be as sensitive to onions as I am in my later adult life, go figure, and I love onions. All right, with this garlic, I think the recipe card I wrote up for it says to mince it. I'm just gonna do a fine chop on these really quick. They don't have to be fully minced. The recipe card does say to mince them though. Again, we're gonna be kind of straining that broth out at the end, so I want them a little big so I can pick them out. If they're small and they go in, that's okay too. All right, with my vegetable prepped, that's about the hardest thing we had to do, just onions and garlic. So I'm gonna pull up my crock pot here. And I have 3 pounds of chuck roast here, and I'm just gonna put it into the bottom of my cold crock pot. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add those chopped onions, just, you know, around the sides and over the top of the beef. I'm just separating them a little bit. And then my minced garlic, also just over the top. And now we're gonna make the juice. So I'm gonna use 2 cups of beef broth, but I'm gonna use powdered beef broth because I have a ton of this and I don't wanna open a quart or 4 cups of beef broth just to use 2. That's my home canned beef broth, and I use that for, you know, like ramen or things where going to end up with a full batch of something that everybody's going to consume. This is a dipping sauce for the sandwiches that we're making. So I have 2 cups of water, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of beef broth. And this little container is one that I got when I was seeing a doctor about weight loss. I've gained a lot of weight in my adult life, from childhood all the way up into my mid-30s. I was very, very thin. I was very toned and muscular. I worked out in the gym all of the time. But when my health issues started happening and I ended up having one surgery after another, it really sabotaged my metabolism. And then after my second bout of breast cancer, I had the double mastectomy, but then I also had to have my ovaries out. So it shot me into menopause, and it's just been really a struggle with my weight. I don't eat a lot at all, but my metabolism just is in the toilet. So I went a couple years ago to a weight loss doctor, and it worked. I lost like 20 pounds. Gained it back since then because her program, though it works, you have to eat their food, and that's all made with high fructose corn syrup. And I don't want to put that in my body, but I did for a short period of time just to see if it would work, and it did. And anyway, the shakes, I bought this bottle from them for the shakes because it has this metal wire ball in here that just helps mix things up really well. So anyway, long-winded story about what I use when I am mixing powder into a liquid. It's this. So now we have 2 cups of bone broth, and to that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. Just about a tablespoon. You can eyeball that. This provides like a deepening flavor to the broth. And then I also have a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And to that, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. Salt and pepper is to taste, so I'm gonna do probably 2 pinches of salt. Well, you can adjust this towards the end. So don't overdo it in the beginning because you can't take it back out. And about, I would say, equal amounts of pepper in there as well. And then I'm just going to whisk that together. Pour that right over the beef. I'm going to throw in a pinch or so, about a tablespoon of some oregano. This is homegrown freeze-dried oregano. Sprinkle that in. And then just a couple of bay leaves, and I'm going to make sure that these are pushed down on the sides into the liquid. And that one was broken, so I'll do another one. Making sure, again, that that leaf is down in the liquid. Okay, this looks fabulous. Here's what it looks like going in. I'm just going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to set it to low for 6 hours. At the 6-hour mark, we'll come back and we'll take all of those onions out, give it a stir, and we'll get started on the sweet potato fries. But this is going to be absolutely delicious. Even though we're skimping on cook time, we are definitely not skimping on flavor. This is magnificent. All right, the crock pot has 25 minutes left on it. And it's time to get the fries ready because I'm going to be making some sweet potato fries with this. You don't have to. You can serve it just as a French dip sandwich, or you can throw tater tots or something else on your plate if you'd like. But I kid you not, my house smells utterly amazing with this in here. So I added 1 more hour or 45 more minutes onto this because that's going to allow me time to get the fries going and done by the time this is ready to go. So we're going to get the fries cut first, and then I'm going to scoop all of those onions out of here. I've just started preheating the oven to 425, and I have just peeled some of my sweet potatoes. They're actually yams, or they're supposed to be, but I think that there were some sweet potatoes in my Azure order as well, because they should all look like this, but I had 2 look like this. But that's okay, because somebody in the house would probably not be super excited to have yam fries, whereas this looks more like a potato, so I think we're gonna be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get these cut down. And some of the pieces I've already broken off because some of them just needed to have parts of them discarded. We've got some planks going on here, so I'm gonna make some sticks, but this one I'm gonna have to make the sticks even smaller because they're pretty thick. You can do as many or as little fries as you like. You can also just use potatoes to do your fries, but sweet potatoes and yams, they offer a lot more health benefits than yellow potatoes do, especially the yams. They've got the beta carotene in them. They're loaded with antioxidants. They're not just a starchy vegetable. They're actually quite healthy for you. So it's a good alternative to a potato, even though this one looks like a potato. Don't tell. So once I get these cut down, I'm gonna put them on the baking sheet. I've got some parchment paper down just to keep them from burning on the bottom of the pan, because 425 degrees in the oven, that's a pretty high heat. And I want these relatively the same thickness all the way through so that they cook for the same amount of time. You don't have to peel yours. The skins are actually quite healthy for you. This meal did allow me to get so much done today. Started the crock pot, got all the dog's nails trimmed, got the family room area rug vacuumed and shampooed, swept, I mopped, laundry, I dusted, I did dishes, did get a ton done and it feels so good. Oh, I also did my yams. I roasted all of the rest of my yams for freeze drying, and I'll show that on an upcoming Freeze Dry Friday video. But that's how I know that there were only 2 in the whole box that were this color. Those came out so good. And I didn't use any oil when I roasted them because I was freeze drying them. So I'll show you that in the next probably 2 weeks, I think. I've got kind of a backlog of freeze-dried stuff right now. So it was a very productive afternoon for me. Oh, the other thing I did, I had to shovel my driveway. We had about 4 inches of snow out there, and I don't have anybody that plows. I used to. When I first moved here, I contracted with a guy, but it took me a minute to find him because nobody wanted to do my driveway. It's a pretty big driveway and it has some really strange angles, and it's hard to move snow when there's really nowhere to put it, because almost anywhere you put it in my driveway, you're gonna end up blocking, you know, the entrance to my garage or the entrance to the house. So I was thrilled when I finally found somebody who did it. I think 3 years running. And then 1 year, he didn't send me a contract. He wouldn't return my calls. I know it's a hard driveway to do, but so now we do it ourselves. I did get a snow blower, but it hasn't even been like started this year, and I'm not really good at starting it after, you know, it's been sitting for a year. So I shoveled for a little over an hour because we had 4 inches on a very large driveway. Okay, now that these are all cut down and roughly the same size, all I'm going to do, put them on the baking sheet. And I'm gonna make sure that I don't crowd the baking sheet. If I can't fit all of these without overlapping, then I'll do a second sheet. Oh, I think this is gonna be fine. I think we'll be okay. There's a little overlap, but it's not bad. First thing I'm gonna do on here is add some cornstarch. This is going to help them crisp up in the oven. No seasonings yet. That'll come after when they come out of the oven. So I'm just gonna take about a tablespoon and sprinkle that all over the fries. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now I'm gonna drizzle about the same amount of olive oil. Sorry, I'm gonna use avocado oil because of the high temp in the oven, 425. This is a high smoke point oil. And then I'm gonna get in here with my hands and really get everything mixed together and then spread these back out. And by that time, our oven should be preheated, and we'll get the onions taken out of the crock pot. We're picking up any of the cornstarch off the bottom of the pan by running the oily fries over it. So these are going to be roasted vegetables. They're just going to be roasted vegetables that don't seem like roasted vegetables. A little more oil over here. So the cornstarch really does get them crispy in the oven. It's what, you know, if you like Chinese and you order chicken, like General Tso chicken or something like that, where the chicken is crispy, that's the secret. The secret is cornstarch. It really helps crisp things up. I just want to get these kind of not overlapping because we want them to all roast evenly and crisp up. If they're overlapping, they're not going to crisp. They're going to get soggy, and you don't want them steaming in the oven either because that will prevent them from getting crispy. That will just get them kind of soggy. So hopefully this is not too many and we will still get a good crisp. And this says I still have 50 minutes left, so we've only been doing this for 10 minutes. So not much hands-on time with this meal at all. It's a dump and go in the morning, and then peel, chop, and put your fries on a pan. That looks pretty good. Everybody has their own space here. All right, as soon as my oven is at temp, it's at 385 now, these will be ready to go in. In the meantime, let's take care of these onions. The onions in here impart an amazing, amazing flavor. But you don't necessarily want that in your juice or your au jus for dipping. And we also want to make sure that we get out those bay leaves. So I'm just going to scoop them out. And then we're just going to let this go until the fries are done. This is going to be completely shreddable beef. And so there's where it's a little bit different than your traditional French dip sandwich. But I am not kidding you, this is truly phenomenal. Oh, there's my oven. I'm gonna get those fries in real quick. All right, 20 minutes on the fries, then I'm gonna flip them with a spatula, and then we'll do about 15 more minutes, and then it's dinner time. The house smells incredible right now. The apple cider vinegar in here, along with the Worcestershire sauce, the seasonings that we used, these onions, this is incredible. It is irresistible. There's never any leftovers because it is just that good. And again, my house smells incredible right now. I'm debating whether or not I want to dehydrate the onions that I'm pulling out of here, because I hate just wasting them, and I think that that's about all. I think everything else in here can stay. You don't have to get every little piece out. You can certainly strain it if you wanted to at the end, but you can see just how shreddable this is going to be, especially if we give it, you know, another 40 minutes or so. It's incredible. So you can toss these if you'd like. You can certainly dehydrate or freeze dry these if you are so inclined and have the technology. Get that lid back on. So these onions do have a beefy flavor to them. They're really good. I am gonna dehydrate these. I don't know what I'll use them for, but I am gonna dehydrate these because that would be such a waste. They have amazing flavor. I don't know why I never thought to do that before. Okay, I'll see you back here in 20 minutes when we're gonna flip the fries. We've got about 2.5 more minutes on the oven, but I am going to whip up a creamy horseradish, the dogs are playing, a creamy horseradish sauce to serve with my sandwich. This is totally optional, but you know, I like things a little spicy, and I'm gonna be making a roast beef roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, mashed potatoes, gravy, and roasted asparagus for Christmas. And this sauce will pair really well with that. And by then the flavors will have melded together. So I'm gonna whip that up really quick. And this is not my recipe. I got this from Natasha's Kitchen. It is a lovely recipe, so, so good. And I need a half a cup of sour cream. Hopefully I have that in here, but I do have more sour cream in the refrigerator. I was hoping to have this done by the time the oven beeped. We'll see. All right, half a cup of sour cream. I'm just gonna add that to a mason jar. That's gonna be easiest for me right now, just to stick in the fridge. To that, I am going to add about 2 tablespoons of mayo. And I'm not measuring this exact. I'll taste it and then we'll go from there. About the same amount of a prepared horseradish. Oh, I love that, so pungent. That's all right, we can do this. We got it, we're almost done. And then I am going to add a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, I need to fill my pepper jar. And just a splash of apple cider vinegar. And I can't find my small bottle. This is my refill jug. So I'm just gonna carefully add a splash. It's about a teaspoon. Or in my case, a capful. Let me get that blended a little, let it sit for a second, and then I'll try it and I'll adjust the salt and pepper if needed. Otherwise, I'm just gonna throw in some freeze-dried chives. All right, let's get those fries flipped. Oh, they look so good. They're definitely not done, but they look really good. Now, the ones closest to the edge, the smaller ones closest to the edge, they are starting to brown up, so I'm gonna make sure that I move those to the middle. And we're gonna put these back in. Honestly, they're probably gonna need at least 15, if not 20 more minutes. I did cut them kind of big, but that's okay. The only reason I am in a hurry tonight is because I am starving. I've been moving all day and I did have 1 egg, 1 piece of bacon this morning. I had so much to do that I was making my list and, you know, just wanted to get everything done. So I am really hungry now. All right, and I only had the egg and the bacon because somebody else cooked it and offered it to me, which was really nice. All right, I'm trying to smooth these back out so they're not on top of each other. These smell incredible. These are gonna be so delicious. And I am going to enjoy the sauce on my fries as well. A sweet potato fry or a yam fry, which is really sweet. Yams are sweeter than sweet potatoes. That sweetness paired with the tangy, zesty, little bit of heat from the horseradish, I think is gonna be incredible. All right, so these are gonna go back in. I'll time that. I'll check them after 15, but I think it's probably gonna be closer to 20. I will keep an eye on them because they are starting to brown. I'm gonna give this a little taste. It needs more horseradish. You can adjust it however you like it. I want mine more horseradishy. So I'm gonna go in with about another half of a tablespoon of that. And that ought to do it. And then I've got some freeze-dried chives. Perfect. I've got sauce for dinner tonight and also sauce for Christmas Day. Every time I open this, I just get smacked in the face by this amazing aroma. It is incredible. So good. I am going to add a little more salt and a little more pepper. I'm not tasting any of those. And we've got still another 15 or 20 minutes. So plenty of time to get those flavors mixed in. Okay, that should be good. See you back here in about 20 minutes. Our fries are just about ready to come out of the oven, so we're gonna make sure that our beef is ready to go too. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because this is done and it smells incredible. And this just shreds apart so easy with a fork. Now, I did write up a recipe for this for you because I don't have a recipe for this. I've seen a couple different types of recipes to use chuck steak for in a crock pot, and then I just expanded on that. So in the recipe, I say to take the meat out of here and then shred it down, and then you can pour off the juice into a servable container, but we're just gonna serve ourselves right out of here tonight. So I'm not gonna do that. Feel free to do that and take everything to a table, but we're just gonna make sandwiches here at the counter, and we're just gonna use a ladle to pick up this sauce, which is why we got the majority of the onions out. It imparted all the flavor it needed to. This is going to be absolutely incredible. And chuck steak tends to be a fairly affordable cut of beef, but it is so, there's my timer. Let me get those fries out. It is so tough that you really do have to cook it low and slow. And this does just that. And then everything else that we added in here, I am telling you, my mouth is watering just from the aroma in this crock pot. It's amazing. All right, let's hope our fries are good and not burned. Oh, they're darkening, but they're not burned. They look good. This is an easy plate up. And again, I'm still trying to get a whole bunch more done tonight. So we're just gonna serve ourselves. And I do have a plate ready. So I've just got a sub roll or a grinder roll here. And the only thing I'm gonna be putting on this is my horseradish sauce, my creamy horseradish sauce. I'm really glad I added that extra tablespoon or almost full tablespoon of horseradish, because this is now perfect to my liking. You can put any condiment on here that you want. You also don't need to put any condiment on here because this sandwich gets dipped in the juice that the meat cooked in as you eat it. So it's not going to be a dry sandwich. I like mine with one slice of cheese. I do provolone. I'm just gonna stick that to the horseradish sauce. And then I'm gonna serve up some of that meat on top of the cheese, which will help get the cheese kind of soft and melty. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. Looks incredible. I'm gonna close that up just to get that cheese melted. Keep my meat in there. Oh, yum. Got a little ladle here. And if I just hold it against the crock pot, I can fill it up with juice without getting more meat. I can get that on my plates, along with some fries. And I'm gonna try to leave the yellow ones. And these are nice and crispy. Perfect. Let me give you a close-up. beautiful sandwich with some horseradish and cheese on it. I've got some crispy fries, a little horseradish over there, and then my dipping sauce. Yum. Let's dig in. We are going to give this lovely sandwich a try. And of course, I'm going to be dipping it in sauce. So here we go. The sauce helps to soften the bread a bit while imparting that amazing flavor onto the bread itself. I'm telling you, this is utterly delicious. The meat is delicious as well. Best hot sandwich ever, I promise. It's amazing. That horseradish sauce on there is so good. The meat is so tender and so flavorful. That au jus is out of this world. I do like making my own rolls for this, but today was a little crazy, so I did just buy a bunch of rolls here. The fries are spectacular. I didn't even have to season them. I will dip them in my little horseradish sauce. They have so much flavor. They're not as crispy as I would have liked. They have a little crisp. But I also didn't cut them evenly. They should be cut about 1/4 of an inch thickness all the way down. I didn't do that. I was in kind of a hurry. But they are still delicious, I promise you. This is a very filling, very hearty meal, and it does not skimp on flavor. It's one of our favorite sandwich recipes, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you. Like I mentioned, this is the Sunday before the holiday, but this is going to post on Tuesday as a Tasty Tuesday recipe. I'm also going to try to sneak in one other video either tomorrow night or on Tuesday. I don't go out very often, but I do go out at least once a year for my work holiday party. This year it was a really nice restaurant, and we tried a cocktail that I had not had before. It's a common cocktail, but I had not had it before, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I bought the ingredients for it, and we've been playing around with it here for the last week. So I would like to share that as well as a beverage for kids. So I might try to squeeze in one more. It might be a short, but the one that is for adults has a little bit of caffeine. Well, actually it has a lot of caffeine in it, which I think is fabulous for Christmas or for New Year's, because sometimes after the kids go to bed, we still have a lot to do. And if we do enjoy in a cocktail, I just want to go to bed. So this will keep you up for a little bit if that is your intended goal. So I'm going to try to squeeze that in. But either way, from my family to yours, happy holidays. I hope that you and your family and your loved ones are safe and happy and building many blessed memories of this holiday season. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Tasty Tuesday, the easiest crock-pot French dip sandwich ever. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you'll come back and visit again soon.